Hey, welcome everybody to the Lovonya call. It is Thursday, November 30th, 2023, and we are privileged to have Dr. Ann Merkel leading us again today. And I'm just popping in to say hello and get the recording going and turn the controls over to Dr. Ann. So hi, everybody. I know you'll have a great call because Ann's amazing, and so are you guys. So enjoy your time together, and I look forward to the next time we all meet.
Thank you, Patter. It was
All
nice
right.
seeing you, and happy travels.
All right. Thanks so much. I'm going to leave meeting, and that will leave you in control. Okay. All right. See you later.
Good. All right. Okay. So I hope everybody's doing well today. And because we've got such a little group, you all want to unmute yourselves and say hi and tell me what's going on with you today, what you're focusing on, what is your main energy focus, and then we'll jump into some things that I've prepared for you all. So Julia, Marcia, who wants to go first?
So I'll go first. I just ordered my first cosmic tower.
Cool.
It should arrive in a few days, and I'm getting the 35 and the mini, and I'm very excited about it. And I'm on the learning curve, and I can't wait.
Great. Okay. Well, congratulations. You'll enjoy it.
Thank you.
Both of them. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, Marcia, what's going on in your life today?
It's Marcia, and I'm under the weather a little bit.
Okay. Sorry, Marcia, I forgot the pronunciation.
It's okay. And I just think it's psychological.
We're going to talk a lot about that today.
I've had some issues, and yeah, so
okay.
I'm doing much better than I was yesterday, that's for sure.
Good. All right. All right. Eileen, you want to unmute yourself and say hi? See what's going on with you today? Yep.
Hi. Oops. Hi. Wait a minute.
Your screen went away, but your voice came.
I'm just glad I remembered it was noon and I could tune into you. I've been going through boxes and boxes and cleaning out my house. I've lived in the same house since 1976.
Wow.
So it's got, and my late husband and I never threw anything away. And I'm getting to do it now.
Well, congratulations. I'm sure you'll feel better with the clear energy.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So Zane, you want to unmute and say hi? And
hi, everyone. Hi from New Mexico. Eileen, you're inspiring me. You're remembering that I have a storage unit filled with old photographs and my past, and I'm going to have to go through those. A winter project. In the meantime, I'm preparing, winterizing my RV. I moved north into the Gila Mountains, so it's a little bit cooler up here. Left the desert and devoting a huge chunk of my day into Qigong study with my group. We're studying with these two husband-wife teachers that are just amazing, and I don't know what I do without having this on a daily basis, where I can focus my attention, because the distractions from the world, it can leak in, and I have to be careful of that.
Mm-hmm.
Maintain stability, inner stability. So that's what I'm working on.
Good. All right. Well, we're glad you're here, Zane. I prepared a little PowerPoint that I want to share with you guys about electricity and some of the tools that I use. So you asked for that last time, and that's just going to be a little tiny bit of what we're going to cover today. And Marcia, I think you'll get a lot out of what we're going to be talking about, because we're going to talk about a lot of the emotional causes of dis-ease on all levels. Okay. Mary, are you there? or did you step out of the room? You want to unmute?
Yep, I'm here,
How are
more or
you?
less.
What's going on with you today?
Well, I'm just putting myself, my house, my life back together. My husband just passed away very recently. And so I am going through a very difficult time of all of the paperwork that's involved with that. And every time I think I've got the last piece done, I find another pile of, oh, I didn't know that was there. He was not the world's best file keeper, but he was the world's best person. So
Well, I'm sending you a lot of love here. Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, my mother just died within the last month, so I understand. But you know,
Oh,
losing
I'm
your
sorry.
mate, losing your mate of many years is really, really hard. So
Even if you know it's coming, and people, I can't tell you how many times people said, oh, it can't be quite as bad. You knew he was already sick. And I went, oh,
easy
I
for you.
can't tell you how many people have said that to me. And it's like, after the fifth one, you just close your mouth
Oh,
and you don't say anything because that means nothing.
Well,
It's
as
more painful than it is anything.
yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that. But let's all send loving energy to Mary, and
Thank you.
know that you are part of a strong community, and we're here for you. And
I
you know,
thank you, Ann.
yeah,
I wanted to come on today because I saw you were going to be on, and I thought, this would be a good time to put my foot back into the water a little bit. So
good.
thank you for being there and everything you've said. Thank you. I'm sorry about your loss as well.
Yeah, but yours is a lot closer to home right now. Yeah, literally. And if you'd like, you can contact me at my phone number that I'm going to show in the PowerPoint in a few minutes, and I'll give you a free consult just to teach you some things to use as the grief comes up and remembrances and stuff. So it'll make it easier for you.
Thank you so much. I would love that. How kind of you. Makes my heart pound. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I will definitely take you up on that, my dear.
Good. All right. So
Thank you.
Richard, you've joined us, and you want to unmute and say hi. What's going on with you?
Hi, everyone. So I'm here in Maryland. It's kind of cold today. It did warm up. It got to 57, but this morning I try to live circadian life. I'm pretty limited. I'm on oxygen 24/7. I try to make the best of it, try to get outside every day. So today I'm kind of struggling a bit. I recently purchased this biofeedback device. It's called Heart Math. I don't know if you're familiar with it, where you measure the coherence and it measures your, I guess, heart variability and a lot of, it's kind of goes on your ear and it feeds into your phone. It's measuring how coherent your heart and your breathing and your mind are, indicating your level of relaxation. So I just got this device. So I said, well, I practice meditation. Maybe I can do better. Maybe I can get into deeper states. So I'm kind of monitoring my body to try to figure out what I need to do is I need to heal my lungs. My lungs have been destroyed by pneumonia. I was a smoker, and then my wife died in 2019. And within a period of 2 years, I had 3 cancers. I had one from esophageal cancer to colon cancer to lung cancer. And I was able to overcome those. But in the process of dealing with esophageal cancer, I got pneumonia twice and it destroyed my lungs. And so I've been on oxygen for the last 2 years, 24/7. So my hope is to do whatever I can to enhance the function of my lungs. And whether that's through trying to somehow manage to regrow my lungs through meditation or stimulate some stem cells to do so. Anyway, whatever it takes, whatever I'm capable of doing. And that's what I'm about.
Okay,
And
well,
showing love to people along the way. That's it. Between growing
Right.
my lungs and showing love, nothing else matters.
good. Okay, so part of what we're going to be talking about may address some of your issues
Okay.
too. So
That's good.
yeah.
Hey, Zane, how you
Okay.
doing?
All right. So, salud, Marcia. Okay, so why don't we go ahead, and if you want to mute yourselves, that would be great. And feel free to unmute yourself when, if you've got a comment or something, but that will just keep the background noise down. Okay, so Zane had asked me in a last session to share some information about how to hardwire things and some of the anti dirty electricity tools that I use. And so I wanted to share those with you via a little short PowerPoint. And then we'll come back and I'm going to share some other case studies of my own clients and how that relates to some of the issues that you all are going through right now. So let's see, I'm going to share my screen. And let's see what we're going to do here. All right, I don't see the one I want. Okay, is that sharing? Can you see that? I guess I can't hear you. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, can you see that now? Does somebody want to unmute and just tell me if you can see it or not?
No,
It
cannot see it.
Cannot
No.
see it. Okay. Let's see. All right. Oh, there it is. Okay. There we go. Can you see it now? Yeah, now you can see it. Okay. So basically, I prepared this a while ago for those people that don't want Wi-Fi. I mean, like I don't, but want to have all kinds of technology in their space. So right now I've got, my computer going. I got a second screen here. I've got another monitor over here that I can watch videos coming from my computer. I can go upstairs and I've got a laptop that I can connect to my television and watch webinars in a comfortable space. So you can all do that easily without rewiring your whole house. So I'm going to teach you how to do it real quickly. Okay, so first of all, let's see here. How do we do this? All right. So first of all, we all have a way that internet comes into our home or our office. And in my case, it's cable. And you can see the cable line coming in with the silver hardware, screwing it into my modem. And in this case, my cable company provides me with the modem. Now, some situations include a modem / router that are all together in one device. But in my case, I have two different things. So the internet comes in on this black cable from my cable company, and then I have a yellow Ethernet cord that comes out of the modem. And you can, that goes wherever you want it to go. Then mine all go into the back of a router. Now a router, this is what my old router looked like. I've still got it. It just hit the dust last week. It was not doing its job anymore, but I got a new one. They're pretty fancy now. And what I specifically was looking for was, because I already had the router, I already had the modem, I needed a router that was not a combination router modem. And you could get them, and I I got this one at Walmart. I got my new one online, but you can get them, you know, all different kinds at, you know, online or on Walmart. Netgear is a really good brand, but they've got so many things, and it takes about a half an hour to be, you know, waiting for customer service to pick up on the telephone if you've got questions. So it's a little bit hard unless you really know what you want. This particular device and my new one enable me to turn the device on and then turn Wi-Fi off. So normally it would send it out to my house, all through the house. Well, you get a certain kind of router with an off button, and then on the back of it, it has multiple places where you can plug in Ethernets going out to different things. So in my case, I showed you before that my modem was coming in with a yellow Ethernet. So this is the inflow from my modem of the information. This is the electricity button, or, you know, plug in for the plug to put electricity into the router. These three, actually four different lines here go out to my devices. The black one goes to my computer, directly hardwired in. These two go to little other devices, and well, all three of these go to other devices that I'm going to show you right now. So that one's coming in, and all of these are going out to whatever I want them to go to. Now you say, but I don't have everything I want to connect to in the same room. Well, I don't either. So in this case, some people say, well, I can't plug mine into my computer. I got a laptop. Well, this is an older laptop, and it had an Ethernet port, so you could plug it right in. This is an HDMI port for the new kind of plugs, and then USB ports. So if you've got a newer laptop and you can't plug something in from the router, you can get another little device. This is what I bought as a demonstration. And this particular little black device plugs in as a USB into the USB port in the back of the little laptop computer. And then down at the bottom here, this is the end of this black box, and that's where the Ethernet goes. So you can either plug it in if your laptop or your computer has an Ethernet plug-in area, you can do that. Otherwise, you can find adapters at Radio Shack stores, at Walmarts, at different places where you can get devices. And you just plug it into your computer, and then the other end of it will have the adapter. It'll have where you plug the Ethernet cord. And what am I plugging them into? Well, that's a good question. Okay, so I mentioned that I have upstairs in a higher level of my house, I have my living room where I have a television, a big screen television with a Roku. So I can do Netflix and Prime Video and PBS and, you know, all kinds of stuff on there. Or I have a laptop also that's connected to the screen on my TV like a monitor, and I can sit back in comfort, or I can be making dinner and watch webinars coming in on my other computer upstairs. But how do I do that? Because my house is not wired like that. So what I've done is I've gone to my local device store, and I've bought some connector pairs. Okay, you buy them as a couple. You got two identical little things like this, and this is TP-Link is the brand, but they're different brands. I've got a couple different ones. And you just plug an Ethernet into it. Each plugs into an electrical socket. It has just, you know, just like a plug, like over here. And so you plug one into your router, that's close to wherever your source of internet's coming in, and just find a plug, an electrical plug that is close by, plug that one in there, and then go with its Ethernet cord going straight into your router, but then move the other one, well, this one's the router, move your other one to wherever you have a device that you want to plug in. So in this case, this is my upstairs device going into another upstairs electrical plug. And so this is what it looks like. Okay, here's my modem coming in from the cable. There's the router. And my yellow cord is taking the internet from the modem to the router. Then I have a white cable, an Ethernet plug going from my router up to this electrical socket that happens to be right next to it. And then its mate is upstairs coming in on this blue line. So it's plugging in and mating with the other little plug-in device, and it brings internet up to my Roku box, which is with my television set. Is that about as clear as mud for everybody? Okay, I put a couple people to sleep, but that's all right. Zane, did you kind of get what you wanted from that? You probably already know some of that stuff. Okay, so then another question you had was about some of the electric filters that I have in my house, especially in the Southeast United States and maybe in mobile homes too, where you've got inverters and things. You've got dirty electricity, and that's where it's a little bit out of balance. You just have radio frequency stuff coming out of the wall, out of your own electrical system. And it can cause people that are sensitive or already sick with, any kind of an immune issue to really be messed up. So this thing that's upside down here, that's what it looks like when it's right side up. It is plugged in underneath my computer right now to a surge protector. This is, where I've got lots of plugs all plugged in, and it's putting out dirty electricity. There's just so many of these little transformer things for my printer and my computer and all the different things. So I've got one there, and these little plug-ins that you put into an electrical socket, if you've got a dirty one, those aren't as expensive as the whole house filters. So here's a whole house filter, that I have. It's on an electrical box that I have downstairs. I have 2 electrical boxes in my house, and some bigger houses do that, but I've got this filter plugged in there, and it helps all of the electricity in my house be cleaner. So if you're interested in looking into this more, I also buy my light bulbs from the same company, and you can get the bright white light bulbs, or you can get the softer white light bulbs, but it's from Satic USA, and there's the phone number there. You can get 10% off whatever you purchase if you use a discount code Dr. Ann GA for Georgia. And if you want more information, this is my phone number. And any of you that want to call me for a personal, consult, that's the phone number into my office. It's a landline. So, you can use that. But Satic is really good. They offer really good customer support if you've got some dirty electricity issues. Zane, I don't know if that would work with your system if you've got dirty electricity. Maybe next time I will get into the device I use to check dirty electricity. I've got meters that I bought from Satic, but this is the one that tells me about dirty electricity, radio frequencies from cell phones, that sort of thing. And I'll tell you a little bit about that, but that's a whole different ball of wax. Okay, so any questions, unmute yourself and feel free to ask, because we're gonna go on from here. Did that kind of cover some of the stuff you wanted to know about Zane? And did you want to know more about the electrical meters? No? Yes? Yeah. I'm going to start.
Yeah, that'd be good to know. I've been testing using my CT75. I have a simple method of,
With the data, yeah.
and it's amazing how everything is flowing clockwise. It has really a life of its own. So I'd like to know how I could, do another check with another.
Yeah.
What's available.
Well, I don't know if this will light up or not. It's not doing anything there, but I've got a 220, a 75, and a 35, and a mini living in my house with me, and I still have some dirty electricity. But I'm in a big house with, with old wiring. So in Georgia, out in the woods, in lower Appalachia, so you can bet that I've probably got dirty electricity. So occasionally I like to measure it, and I also like to take my meters with me sometimes, and I test for other people in their offices and in their homes. But I also, just like to know my own environment to make sure that I'm staying clean enough. Okay, so you all ready to go on to more fun topics? Get out of electricity? Okay. All right, so we just had Jordan join. Hi, Jordan.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Want to do a quick little check-in? Everybody else said hi and just kind of said what was going on in their life today.
There's nothing particular I can think of for today. I'd say that the week was more eventful, and the solution was to take time off of work and to focus on myself.
Good. Self-love is a good thing. Well, good. Thanks for sharing that and reminding us, Jordan. Okay. All right. So some of you that know me a little bit know that I have had several different careers, and along the way I've done a lot of counseling. I've done a lot of corporate training. I got into energy therapy about 35 years ago, and it got into energy psychology and energy medicine. And then I went back and got a second doctorate in naturopathy because I realized that I was attracting a lot of people with autoimmune conditions, and I needed to know more about the body in order to help them. Now, my main love and what I do well that a lot of people don't do is I do energy medicine, and I feel the energy, and I'm sensitive, and I can do a lot of interesting things. But I've also learned I like to keep going deeper with people to help them feel better about their lives and to live a better life. And so I can do everything from read your genes and help you with epigenetics so that you keep your genes clear. But I also can go into the Akashic records and read your soul and help clear blockages to you connecting with your highest divinity. So, you got two different spectrums, but I'm a Gemini, so I'm kind of a split personality anyway, so I can go both ways. But anyway, that gives you a little bit of background here. Now I'd say I do a lot of just functional medicine, environmental medicine, and energy medicine. So those are my loves. So a few years ago, I published several books, and you can access them by going to, let's see, where do they go somewhere on there. I'm not seeing them again. Darn, I hate that. Okay, so well, anyway, somewhere out here, let me see if I can find it. No, I'm not going to waste your time. Okay, so basically, I've got two websites. One is annmerkel.com, and you can find certain things on that page, but you can also go to arielagroup.com, ARIELA group.com. Now on the arielagroup.com, there is a drop-down menu that enables you to, let's see, the exact web, let me see, maybe I can share again. Let me try again. There we go. All right. So this is the page. It is at arielagroup.com, and it's under for practitioners. Well, you don't need to be a practitioner to go to the publications on Amazon, and that's what you find. So these are my 4 books. And the one I want to talk to you about today is Autoimmune Cases Naturally. And you can get this in the Kindle version as well as a printed version. And it's still available online on Amazon. Just, go in and find my name. But this is, I'm going to go over some of the cases today because it's using energy medicine, energy psychology, specifically for people that have real serious health issues. And it shows how by clearing the emotional component, they can get well from really, really serious things. Okay, so here's my local copy that I've been reading. I haven't looked at my own book for several years. I'm going, hey, I like this book. I should write another one sometime. All right, so I'm going to go through some of the cases, just a tiny bit of each one, but if you're interested, it's available to you online. But I just want to let you know that if you're suffering in your body, and so many of us are, when I'm around people with their cell phones all day long or in Wi-Fi, I just am a zombie. I just have to come home to my little oasis I've created and get well again. And I know that about me. I've got an electro hypersensitivity because, I've just been around computers for so many years that, it's taken its toll. So I had a client a few years ago who was somebody I knew locally. I was on a local board of directors of an organization with him. And he showed up with stage 4 esophageal cancer. And so he said, I want to come to you because I've been down to Emory in Atlanta and they want to do all the chemo, all the radiation, all of the traditional cancer treatments that you would find in a big university hospital. And so he says, I want to know if there are any things that I could do that are more natural. I said, okay, come in for a session and let's talk. And so when I work with a client, I send them a big history form, and they give me their background of all the traumas they've ever had in their life. They tell me about their mother's pregnancy with them. Were they a wanted child? Were they a surprise? All those kind of dynamics. Because we are sponges, and any emotions that we pick, we will pick up your mother's emotions in the womb. So all those things become encoded in our DNA, and those can later pop out under stress and cause disease in the body or the mind or the spirit. So in his case, he came, he gave me the full history. He told me what he ate, what he drank, levels of exercise, what kind of water he was drinking, what his spiritual persuasion was, blah, blah, blah. So he and his wife showed up in my office locally, and I sat down with them. And when he walked in, he had one of those Bluetooth speakers for his cell phone around his neck. Does that make any sense to anybody? Have you seen those things that people wear? They look like a partial necklace. And I think some of them have earbuds, you lean up, but he had it around his neck. I said, hey guy, the first thing I want you to do is take off that horrible device, because you are zapping. You've got your cancer right here. What are you doing with all these electromagnetics right around your neck? So he took it off, said, stop wearing that. Stop using Bluetooth. It's very dangerous for you. You know, if you're using the little earbuds, it's going right into your brain. Even headsets that are metal wires, you know, those send the EMFs right into your brain. Nobody needs that. Whether you're hypersensitive like I am or not, you do not need that. So in fact, your body doesn't want it. So I said, throw that thing away. Sorry. And I said, what were you doing before you came here today? He says, oh, I was out in my acreage and I was spraying Roundup along the roads. I said, well, okay. Second thing you will never do again if you want to live through cancer is stay away from glyphosate. That means you got to clean up your diet and eat organic only. Make sure you stay away from anything that's GMO, because GMOs, you know, oftentimes are among the 6 Roundup ready crops. We talked about that in our last session. But, you know, he was doing it all wrong. Okay, but that's not what I wanted to talk mainly about, but those were 2 pretty obvious things. And like I said, his wife came with him. So we went down through his diet and his exercise or lack thereof and all that kind of stuff. But it turns out that in his layers of trauma, and I asked everybody to write a timeline. You know, how was your mother's pregnancy? How was your birth? How were you, tell me about your family life, age 0 to 5, any traumas, any big life changes, ages 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, et cetera, et cetera. Well, he told me a story that kind of gave me all the clues I needed, which was he'd been married before. He had a beautiful wife. They were real close. And she came down with cancer. And she struggled and she struggled and she struggled. And he was, there for her. And she ended up dying. But then later, and then he was he was a full-time parent, single parent, with raising 2 daughters. And then later on, one of his daughters came down with cancer. And again, he was there for her. I mean, she was grown by this time, but he was there for her. And he watched her struggling with the cancer. So, and this was just one person of many that I've seen that have been cancer or other kind of illness caretakers who, whether the person survives that they're caretaking or not, they end up developing cancer later on. Now, I don't believe that cancer is a virus. I think there are a lot of different causes to cancer, but there is a vibration of every illness. And when you're around the vibration of illness and you're feeling the feelings of your loved one suffering, that is something that you can pick up if you aren't strong enough and if you don't take care of yourself and clear your own energy field after you're with them. Because if you are a caretaker, I mean, Eileen, you lost your husband a long time ago. Mary, you lost your husband recently. Marcia, you lost your mate. Richard, you're suffering, and I don't know your history, but when you are around somebody and you are caretaking or being with them, feeling their pain, you can't really help them by carrying their pain burden on your own back. We do that, you know, sympathy, empathy. Empathy is good, except you got to clear yourself. You can't be carrying other people's stuff around. I mean, over the years, I have cleared lots and lots of old stuff that people are carrying for dead relatives. And you know, they still are carrying it, and it's never did the relatives any good while they were alive, and it's still not doing them any good. You know, you can remember that they suffered. You can remember how wonderful you were to support them in their suffering. You can remember the good times and the healthy times with them, but you don't have to be carrying that vibration of their suffering. So that's one of the things we clear. And in this case, he, you know, my friend locally and I had some sessions, and we cleared his empathy for his wife who died, as well as his daughter. And he got well. Of course, his present wife went home, threw out everything from the cabinets, the pantry. They went grocery shopping. They decided they were going to walk together every single day. He immediately dropped like 20 pounds. He looked great. His energy picked up. He was just like, you know, this Energizer bunny. And it helped their relationship because they spent more quality time getting exercise, being together. They could talk and walk together. And he never went, you know, he never had to go back to Emory. And he was, you know, he was cured. So you can do that. And I can't tell you how many cases present like that. I had another woman that I worked with, her son who had cancer, and he ended up dying, and he was only in high school when he started, you know, having the symptoms of cancer. But right after he died, she had been so much involved emotionally that she got intestinal cancer and a colon cancer. And the colon cancer, when the large intestine energy has to do with trying to control something. Well, you can imagine a mother trying to control that her son was not going to die. And he was a wonderful, energetic guy. He was funny. He was a dancer. He performed with dance groups locally. And he told me in one of our last sessions, he said, "Ann, I just can't fight anymore. It hurts too badly." And, you know, and then he asked me the question when his oncologist said, "You know, you're terminal. You're not going to last much longer." He said, why me? Why me? I said, "Well, you need to go, you know, it takes somebody strong to go ahead and to be there ready to welcome the rest of your family members." And then he died right after that. But his mother came down with you know, she was trying to control how he was as he was sick, and she was trying to control him to stay in his body, and he decided to leave. He just couldn't suffer anymore. And I honor that. Okay, so does this remind you of any cases you know? Do you know anybody that maybe had a person with illness in the family and then they came down? Zane? Yeah. Oh, you just muted yourself. Okay.
It's a quick story. Related to it's related to this. This doctor was responsible for monitoring and working with people with ALS, and he was perfectly healthy and it's part of their process. And he acquired it. He wound up getting, because it's an you're taking in information, and the body responds to that information. So, and Qigong practice, we're very careful with the information we enter, you know. And so, yeah, it's funny you brought this up. It's not funny, but it's like a true, you stay in that information field and you begin to take it in and manifest physically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's all about vibration. I mean, life, everything out there that we see, everything that we feel, it's all vibration. So, you know, that's a perfect example, Zane. So thanks for sharing that. Okay, so some of the cases in my book that I mentioned, the first case was my own case because I had autoimmune disorder. And I am on a very clean, well, not 100% clean. I could be cleaner, but I gave up gluten and corn 40 years ago. And I do not eat those because even one bite reactivates the antibodies in my system, and then I get symptoms again. So, you know, that's part of the puzzle. But autoimmune, which is what this book is about, is where the body gets confused and it starts attacking its own cells. And there are like 100 different things that they group under the autoimmune category. And there are a lot of people that have gotten the COVID shots and other vaccines that are coming out with autoimmune disorders, because there are things that you get when you get shots of any kind that look similar to cells in our body or pieces of DNA or RNA, but they're not really our body. So if they're an intruder, the body goes and sends white blood cells to attack, but then there's, you know, our own cells in the crossfire that get killed along the way. And that's when we get cancer or some more other disorder. In my case, I had chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia for a year, and I was in my late 30s, early 40s. I had a full-time job. I was supporting my ex-husband at the time, and you know, I was really a go-getter, but I was just stopped in my tracks, and I just couldn't get out of bed because I had no energy at all, but I was in constant pain from the fibromyalgia, so I didn't sleep very well either. So it was a vicious circle. So the way I quote healed myself was one day after I'd been, you know, wasting almost a year, I yelled at God and said, okay, either I'm out of here because, you know, I'm that close to feeling like I could die like that. I have no energy whatsoever. Or you tell me now what's wrong, how this happened, and how I can get well. And within 2 days, I was with a client driving up to my ex-husband was a chiropractor, and one of his patients was driving up to see another specialist chiropractor, and she didn't know how to drive in the mountains. So I was sitting there over in the seat. But as we were driving back from that, I looked over and there was this health food store. And I had been that road many, 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 many times. That health food store had never been there before, and I've never seen it since. But she said, well, let's stop at this health food store. So we walked in, and right in front of the door, you know, I could basically hit me in the face, were all these little pamphlets. And one had chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. And so I picked it up, and it had all the causes and how to get well. I thought, well, thank you, God. And so I went home and got a couple practitioners. So I was on, it was all a vibrational thing in the sense that I was eating the wrong diet. So I fixed my diet and I took homeopathics that would kill the candida overgrowth, the fungus that was taking over my microbiome in my gut and making, you know, taking a lot of my energy away. But also, and I was clearing all the things that I was killing as I used the natural things. So I was taking herbs, I was taking homeopathics, I was reading what's her name? Oh gosh, what is her name? Denise? No. Oh God, she's a publisher. Hey, Heal Your Life. The book. Louise Hay, is that her first name? Yeah, okay, okay. Sometimes named. But anyway, I got her book and I thought, well, let's just look and see what chronic fatigue's all about. And it was basically an inner struggle between dependence and independence. And I said, well, that's my relationship with my husband, because I really had been taught by my mother that I was going to get married, live happily ever after, and my husband was going to take care of me. And instead, I found this wonderful man, and for 17 years, I supported him. And part of me wanted to be independent and do my own thing and not be dependent on a guy. But at the same time, I had been programmed that I was going to be taken care of financially. And that never happened. So once I realized that inner fight in me, I cleared it using some of the energy tools that I use and that we've talked about on some of the other calls. And with that and the diet and clearing out the candida and rebalancing my microbiome, within 2 months, I had lost 20 pounds. My energy was back. I had no fatigue. My mind was clear again, and everything was great. So I tell you some of the stuff about, what I did in the book. Okay, some of the other ones, there's one case about Crohn's disease, which is a real serious disease of the gut. And it had to do with this young man who was in his 20s, living at home, was still with his parents, and he was so weak from Crohn's disease that he couldn't go out. He had to have 24/7 help, just being totally taken care of. And his parents were kind of giving different messages. His mother was being the mother, being the hovering helicopter mom still, even though he was in his 20s and he really wanted a life, but he had no life. And his father was saying, buck up, get well. What are you doing still sitting around the house? If I were you, I'd be well by now. I would have found a way to be well, so you could see the dynamics that he was living with. So I knew from the beginning it was going to be a struggle, especially with the fact that his parents showed up on some of his Zoom calls. I forget where he lived, but he was not a local person. So anyway, what I found through his history was that prior to his birth and his conception, his mother had had a miscarriage. And she was devastated. And she was so sad and so upset about having lost the baby that when she got pregnant again, she just worried the whole pregnancy. Is it going to be okay? Am I going to take him to term? You can imagine the fears. And I think he was their only child, so she'd never had a child before. So she didn't know about, if that was going to work the second time. So not only did he take on all that fear and that, he's going to be messed up like my first one and he's not going to make it either, but he was born as a sickly baby because he took on all that stuff. And throughout his life, he was always sick and always weak. And by the time he was in his 20s, he had really suffered a lot and had full-blown Crohn's disease. So, we had some sessions, but his parents were still going neck to neck. And I said, okay, you've got to both back off. I will have a session with the mother separately. I'll have a session with the father separately. But the sessions with the young man, I'm going to have on my own. So, he can be free to be himself. So, but you can see how even, something like Crohn's disease, he wanted to be in charge of his own life and had no freedom. His parents were taking over. Okay, there's a big section in the book about a client that I worked with that when I met her, she had multiple chemical sensitivity, could not go out of the house, had lost her condo, her job, lived in her car for a while until a friend invited her to live in his guest bedroom. And it was the saddest story. And she couldn't go outside because she was so highly sensitive to anything in the environment. So she wore a mask, and friends brought her food, and she was covered with horrible psoriasis. And she just said, you know, I've got to get my life back. She had been a trainer in the past and in front of audiences and, you know, lots of stuff to share, and had a good job, and lost it all because of the illness. So I worked with her extensively. So in the book, it goes through all the layers we went through, and it was all emotional stuff. She'd been abused by her mother, kind of neglected by her mother. Her mother had been covered with psoriasis, and she had been embarrassed by her mother when her friends came over, and her mother, you know, just didn't care and didn't cover up all these lesions all over her body. And so, you know, there again was being around the vibration of the psoriasis. She developed it later in life too. And as we worked together on her emotional things, her skin cleared up. She wasn't on meds for it. She just cleared up by letting go of the emotional component. So there were lots of different layers with Jerry, and that's not her real name, but that's what we agreed. You know, I told her, I'm writing a book about you and your case, and, you know, what would you like to be called? So she came up with the name. Okay, so there are several other really interesting cases, and there's one young woman that showed up with Graves' disease, which is a hyperthyroid, just super, super overactive thyroid. And her inner critic was so loud that it was just pushing her. And she was always on drive mode and was wearing herself down. But she had a father with post-traumatic stress disorder. And so she was always, as a child, taking care of her mother and being afraid of bothering her father, that he was going to explode. So there were lots of dynamics there that as we cleared those, she got better. So this just, you know, I wanted to share some of these things. How many of you have been a caretaker, or you feel like you've had caretaking responsibilities in your life? Okay. There are a lot of people that develop, especially women, develop breast cancer because they're caretakers. That is the classic energy that goes into breast cancer. It's, you know, trying to take care of the world, everybody there. And once you realize that it's wonderful to be helpful, it's wonderful to be sympathetic, it's wonderful to support the people you love. But again, you got to learn to clear your energy so you don't take their stuff home. When I started in the business of doing energy therapy, I had some real interesting cases. You know, like one woman was possessed by this weird entity, and you know, I took it out of her, but it came into me. And so all her symptoms, you know, were gone. She walked out all happy. And that night I was sick as a dog because I took on that energy. And then I remembered, clear it. And I cleared it out of me. But that was just part of my learning process. But there are just, you know, we take on a lot of stuff. So I mentioned in your mother's pregnancy, all of her emotions came into you. So if you've always wondered why you were maybe anxious or something was going on in you even before you knew any better, it could have happened while you were still in the womb, or it could have happened between birth and age anywhere from 7 to 12 years old, depending on the individual, because your cognitive mind doesn't come online till you're a certain age. And so as we're little kids, we're like sponges, and the sponges take on every emotion in our environment. So if somebody's yelling at somebody else, you think you're the baby or the young person thinks, oh, I did something wrong. They're yelling, or they're fighting, so they're dangerous, or they're fighting, so they're going to split up and I'm going to have divorced parents, or anything, any emotion. Oh, it could be your parents lost a parent or lost a loved one or even lost a pet and they're grieving. And the little child takes on the grief without even knowing why the parent was grieving. So all that stuff goes into who we are and all the hidden stuff that can be triggered under stress. And, so we're all walking quagmires of emotional mess. But if we keep ourselves clear by working with people like Zane to do the body work, to use some of the energy therapy tools that we can use on our own that I can teach you, by doing a meditation, by just getting out and exercising, by going back into old memories and changing the ending. So that, I used to do that and it was amazing. I was kind of the one that stuck out. I was kind of a loner in school and always not in the in crowd. And so I went back to those old, you were a real dork in high school, and I changed the endings. It's like I was really cool and I wore cool clothes and everybody followed me around and wanted to know what I thought. And, and that became the ending of my story. And it just changed my vibration. So it's like I didn't have a bad time in high school because I had all these great things that I had changed. So all you have to do is go into your quiet space and go in and clear the hurt, but then come up with a different ending. It does work. I am a person that can vouch for that. Jordan, did you have your hand up a minute ago? Did you have a comment?
I don't think so.
Okay. Did anybody have a comment or a question at this point? Okay, so last time, I think I went a good hour and a half. And in some of my webinars, I do go an hour and a half. But how many of you would prefer we keep it at an hour this week or this month? Okay, and then we can continue. Maybe some of you will get a chance to look at the book and get some ideas. And we can actually get in. What I like to do is have everybody show up with what's going on, and then we actually work on what's happening here. So, we've got Eileen and Mary clearing their spaces. I've been clearing my spaces because I brought a lot of my mother's stuff into my house, and I've been saying, okay, it's time for me to completely clear the space. But this whole session has been about clearing the energetics too. And we've talked about some of the things that some of the tools to clear out the emotional stuff. Richard, do you have your hand up?
No, it's me, Jordan.
Jordan, you got yours up.
Following
Okay.
up to what you just said about clearing,
Uh-huh.
I'm interested to know if there's any clearing we need to know if we get like secondhand furniture. Because I don't value furniture, so I'm not, well, there's a certain furniture I want, and it's not available in the United States yet. That's the issue. So I'm getting inexpensive but functional furniture, kind of IKEA style, until the one that I really want becomes available. And I thought about and not willing to get a furniture maker to make it because it's someone's design. And so I want them to sell it to me, bring it over here to the USA or Canada and sell it to me.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if there's anything that would be helpful to do. So I am energy sensitive, but not with everything.
Okay. Great question, Jordan. That brings up so many interesting things. How many of you ever shop at thrift stores or consignment stores? I do.
Oh, and I have another question that I was thinking of. I heard, I don't know where I heard it, maybe this group that jewelry, like the stones and crystals, that they're like one-dimensional beings. So it seemed very appealing for me to bring this one jewelry set into my life. It was a very beautiful turquoise and gold set. And then I thought that there might be a problem with the owner. So then I thought, no, I'm not going to bring it over. Is there any way we can clear the energy before it comes over, or just leave it that it's lost? And also the people who it's associated with, they're not intentionally necessarily, but they're into dark forces.
Okay. Okay, so great questions, great examples. Okay, so anything that's coming into your environment can have its own energy. Now, we talked last time about outgassing of new stuff that can just be chemically bad for you, but energy is definitely, even if it's brand new and it's been sitting in a retail store or a warehouse for a while, it can still have picked up energy. If it's traveling a long way, it could pick up energy. If it's crystals, jewelry, those kinds of things, clothing, furniture, anything that's been around somebody else has their energy on it. But the good news is, yes, you can clear it. So one of the good ways to clear your house, clear your furniture, clear your space is to open your shades, open your windows, let the fresh air blow through the house with the intention, I want to blow out all the energetics that don't belong here. Okay, that's just an easy one. Sunlight is great for putting crystals in, jewelries, because crystals even sitting around in the room, and I got tons of them, I got like 5 or 10 sitting right in front of my computer. They pick up energy. So you got to keep them clear regularly, reminding myself here. And you can do that by putting certain crystals soak them in water with the intention of clearing them. Not all are really good, getting wet, but most of them are. Or put them, wash them off and then put them in sunlight for a few hours. And that can clear crystals. Now, the other stuff, you can walk through your house with a stick of incense and just wave it. Make sure it doesn't drop anything burning in your house, but wave it into the corners where energy gets stuck. Wave it around anything new that comes into your house. You're smudging these items, just like you smudge yourself if you're in a ceremony. And all you have to do is have a stick of incense, a little stick, and just go around your whole house and do it regularly. Because if you're in a place, especially after winter, and you've, had all kinds of stuff coming and going, and, if you're letting go of somebody else's stuff, you're not letting go of them. You're just letting go of the energy that's stuck, that's stagnant, that you don't need to be there, especially if there was an illness involved. You don't need that. You need the good memories to be there still without any of the suffering stuff. And so, take the incense. That's great. Okay.
What about the starting the fireplace? Will the fire elementals clear just the area in the fireplace, or can they also work on the rest of the space?
I don't think I would invite the fire elementals out of my chimney, out of my fireplace.
Oh, I thought that they invite themselves if you light a fire.
Yeah, well,
Oh.
you can work with divas and angels, but leave the fire in the fireplace. We've had some big fires around here lately in Georgia even, and so.
Oh, okay, they work differently than I thought. I thought that if you light a fire, they just come because there's a fire, but it doesn't sound like that's the case.
No, but you've got a wonderful, any divas and angels, call in the nature spirits to help you, but specifically calling for the fire people, the fire divas to come out of your fireplace, I surely would not do that. But one stick of incense, a lot of people would potentially carry a smudge stick around, but those can drop things unless you have something under it to catch the smudge stick. I would stick with the incense. So Mary, you had your hand up. You want to unmute your...
Yeah, it brings a real quick question to mind. I've used a lot of what you say. I've been studying energy medicine, not perhaps medicine, but just energy. I'm fascinated by it. I love learning about it. One thing that comes to mind in what you're just talking is when my husband passed, he wanted to be cremated. And we picked out a beautiful, beautiful little box. And his ashes, most of them, are in this beautiful box, stashed away, sealed, wonderful, sitting with those of his favorite cat on top of the fireplace. Does that cause any bad energy? Because I don't feel bad energy when I walk by it. I feel nothing. I only remember the fun times that we had. Is that something I should or should not have? I mean, I just think it's awesome. I walk by and say, "Hi, honey, how you doing?" It makes me feel good.
No, I
It's a
think
little sick.
that's a great question. And you've got the essence of what the physical body used to be. And you can talk to him. That can be your kind of antenna to stay connected with him.
I do, and I have gotten some of the best answers for some of the craziest things that I would have never been able to figure out. I'm going, well, you're better than when you were here. I'll say that to him sometimes.
Yeah,
And I just
sometimes
think
you
I'm
have
funny.
better. Yeah, sometimes you do have better communication because they can see a wider thing and they're not stuck in ego or emotion.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you
Great
so much.
question. That's
Thanks,
great.
Ann.
And when you bring somebody else into your house in an urn or something and you like the urn, but you don't know who's hiding in there, then you might have an issue.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. No. Another way that you can clear is ringing a little bell. You can get a little tiny chime or, those little temple bells and walk around your house and just use the chime. Do sound therapy to clear your space. And that's
I've done
really,
that.
really
Yeah,
effective.
I've done that too. Yeah. And just, I had a little white candle. I don't know where, I just have had it forever. It's just beautiful little white candle. And I light it like what you say, and then kind of blow it out and let the smell from it go, and then just take it into corners and go, there's some dust there, take care of it. And I just do goofy things.
No.
I don't do it all the time, but
no. But
I
it
can't
is
wait to
important.
talk to you.
Yeah, it is important to clear the space regularly. And I'll go over and clear my significant other's cabin because he doesn't do it himself. And, so it's like, doesn't that feel better now? Yeah. So, but that's really good practice and it keeps us all healthy and happy. And it's amazing how it feels different.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It truly, truly does. And sometimes I'll forget, like I haven't done my incense for some time now. And I was just thinking the other day, now that you're getting a few things out, Christmas things and putting up some wreaths and, just stuff that I always enjoy looking at. I don't do a whole lot. I thought now would be the time to definitely get and smudge everything really good because it's been sitting in storage for a little while.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Good. Well, I look forward to talking with you, Mary, and any of the rest of you that have issues coming up. Marcia, if you want a short little consult, give me a call. You got my number. But I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving. And we're going into the holiday season that'll bring up, for some people, a lot of issues, right? Potentially, and good things, good memories, good issues. And sometimes a little bit of stuff might come up, but there are tools. Only other thing I wanted to share with you is on my other website, which is annmerkel.com. And I'm not going to go into detail other than showing you where it is, where to find it. Oh, it is here. Oh, come on, where are you? Where are you? Oh, I'm not seeing it. Oh, there it is. Okay. I have a whole lot of instructional videos on the annmerkel.com site, and under product supplements tests. You know, if you need blood tests, I can order you some discounted tests. I've got supplements that you can order. I can
Oh,
do some referrals for CBD hemp oil, but the instructional videos here are on YouTube, but you can access them. So I have epigenetics talking about how to keep your genes clean. And I'm not talking about blue jeans. This video here I did years ago, and it talks about the meridian tapping, which points refer to which emotions and which organs, and how to use the different tapping points so you can clear your own stuff if it comes up during the holidays. So this is a real good one. It's very short, but it'll give you all you need to learn about you know, how to do that. Then if you've learned traditional emotional freedom technique, this is kind of an alternative to doing, you know, what to say while you're tapping. I do it differently than other people do. And then here's a whole series of 5 videos on tapping away your stress. So these are all, you know, you can go here on my annmerkel.com and just instructional videos page and pull up these different videos, and, you know, feel free, they're all free. So I wanted to make that available to you. Okay, so I hope that let's see, what if there is a Lovonya, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, it may be the 28th of December if we have one in December. So if I don't talk to you all, I hope all of you that celebrate Christmas have a wonderful Christmas. Any of you that celebrate Hanukkah have a wonderful Hanukkah, and just make the most of the time that we have, and keep on clearing that energy. Okay.
thank you,
Thank
Ann.
you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was
Thank
just
you.
wonderful. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you all for being here,
Thank you.
and
Thank you very much.
look forward to seeing you all at the next session. Ooh, your kitty looks like my kitty, Mary.
Yeah, if you wanted to say hi.
Oh, good, good. All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Jordan. Okay,
Happy
everybody.
holidays, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Love.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, you can go off now, Mary.